On February 28, 2026, there was no warning. No buildup, no official signal, just one line appearing everywhere at once. Ali Khamenei is dead. It did not come from television. It did not come from government sources. It came from the internet. Telegram channels picked it up first, then X, then automated news feeds. Within minutes, it was everywhere. The speed felt unnatural, like the story had already been prepared, before anyone had time to question it. No source, no verified footage, no official confirmation, and yet, people believed it, because it was everywhere. Every scroll, every refresh, every platform repeating the same claim with absolute certainty. This is how modern events begin, not with proof, but with repetition, not with evidence, but with confidence. And the more you see it, the harder it becomes to doubt it. But something was missing. There was no reaction from Iran. No emergency broadcast, no coordinated statement, only silence. And in intelligence terms, silence is never empty. It can mean control, or delay, or the absence of a real event. And right there, the story stopped being simple. Because the question changed, not, is he dead, but, who needs you to believe that he is? Ali Khamenei is not a typical head of state. He is the supreme leader of Iran, the highest authority in the country, positioned above the president, the parliament, and the judiciary. His power is not symbolic, it is absolute in strategic matters. He directly influences the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, known as the IRGC, one of the most powerful military and intelligence forces in the region. Through it, Iran projects power far beyond its borders, into Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Khamenei also controls the direction of Iran's nuclear program. Decisions about uranium enrichment, negotiations, and strategic posture ultimately pass through his approval. This makes him a central figure not only domestically, but globally. But what makes him truly difficult to target is not just power. It is invisibility. Unlike most world leaders, he does not operate in public space. His appearances are rare, controlled, and highly secured. His daily movement is not predictable. Locations change, routes are adjusted constantly. Even within Iran's own government, access to his schedule is restricted to a very small circle of trusted individuals. His communication is deliberately indirect. Messages are often passed through intermediaries, reducing the risk of interception. Direct digital exposure is minimized, limiting signals that intelligence agencies typically rely on. This creates a fragmented system where no single observer can see the full picture. Information is distributed in layers, making it nearly impossible to reconstruct his exact position in real time. For intelligence agencies like the Central Intelligence Agency and Israel's Mossad, this presents a unique challenge. They are not dealing with a visible target, but with a controlled absence of visibility. And that changes everything, because you cannot simply find him. You have to understand the system that hides him. And systems, unlike people, leave patterns. Chapter 3. A system designed to disappear. The protection around Ali Khamenei is not just security. It is architecture, a system built to prevent detection at every level. His locations are not fixed. He moves between controlled environments. Secure compounds, underground facilities, and hardened structures designed to withstand both surveillance and attack. These sites are often shielded against electronic interception. Signal jamming, restricted devices, and isolated communication lines reduce the chance of external monitoring. Even when movement happens, it is obscured. Convoys are used as decoys. Multiple routes are deployed simultaneously. Timing is irregular, making pattern recognition extremely difficult. Inside the system, information is fragmented. One group controls logistics, another controls security, another handles communication. None of them see the full picture. This method is known as compartmentalization. It ensures that even if one part is exposed, the system as a whole remains protected. His communication avoids direct channels. Orders pass through intermediaries, often verbally, leaving little to no digital trace behind. From an intelligence perspective, this creates a moving target that is not just hidden, but constantly reshaping itself. And that forces a shift in strategy. Because when you cannot see the target, you stop looking for the person. You start looking for the system. And systems, no matter how secure, eventually reveal patterns. The question is, who is patient enough to find them? For decades, two intelligence systems have focused on Iran. The Central Intelligence Agency in the United States and Israel's Mossad. Their objective was never simply to locate Ali Khamenei. It was to understand the structure around him, to map influence, timing, and decision flow. The CIA built its approach on signals intelligence, intercepted communications, metadata analysis, and long-term pattern tracking across networks. Even when messages are encrypted or indirect, metadata reveals structure. Who communicates, how often, and in what sequence. From this, analysts reconstruct hierarchy. Chains of command become visible without hearing a single word. Mossad took a different path. Human intelligence, recruitment, infiltration, long-term placement. People inside the system, not outside it. These sources operate where technology cannot reach. Inside rooms, inside conversations, inside decisions. Information comes in fragments, small details, often insignificant on their own. But combined with signals and satellite data, they begin to form a larger picture, a pattern. And once a pattern is identified, it can be studied, tested, predicted. This is where intelligence changes. It stops reacting and starts anticipating. Because the goal is no longer to find the target. The goal is to know where the target will be before anyone else does. While human sources worked inside the system, another layer operated far above it. Satellites. Assets connected to the National Reconnaissance Office have monitored regions like Tehran for years, collecting continuous visual and thermal data. These are not simple cameras in orbit. They are multi-layered surveillance platforms. Optical sensors capture high-resolution imagery, detailed enough to track vehicles, perimeter changes, and activity patterns around restricted compounds. Synthetic aperture radar goes further. It sees through clouds, darkness, and dust, building images regardless of weather or time. Infrared systems detect heat signatures, engines, generators, sudden movement. Anything that produces energy leaves a trace. But the real shift came with artificial intelligence. Modern systems do not just observe, they analyze. Algorithms compare current activity with months or years of historical data, flagging anything that breaks the pattern. A convoy leaving at the wrong time. A facility activating unexpectedly. A route that changes too often. These are not random events. They are signals. And once signals repeat, they become patterns. From orbit, no single moment reveals the target. But over time, the system begins to narrow possibilities. Not where he is, but where he is likely to be. And in intelligence work, probability is often enough. Technology can observe patterns, but it cannot replace access. That is where human intelligence becomes critical. Mossad has spent years building networks inside Iran. Not fast operations, slow infiltration. Carefully placed sources within sensitive structures. These are not always high-ranking officials. Often they are intermediaries, assistants, technicians, people close enough to see, but invisible enough to remain unnoticed. Information does not arrive as answers. It arrives as fragments. A meeting that happened unexpectedly. A schedule that shifted without explanation. A convoy prepared outside normal timing. On their own, these details mean nothing. But combined with satellite data and signals intelligence, they begin to align. This process is called intelligence fusion. Multiple incomplete sources, layered together until a pattern becomes visible. Every fragment is tested, cross-referenced, verified against independent signals. Because in this environment, false data is expected. Misdirection is part of the system. And the deeper you go, the more the system pushes back. Sources can disappear, information can be planted, entire narratives can be constructed to mislead. Which means intelligence work becomes a constant balance between trust and doubt. But when the fragments start repeating, when independent sources align without coordination, that is when analysts begin to pay attention. Not because they have certainty, but because they have convergence. And convergence is the closest thing to truth in a system designed to hide it. Then the battlefield changed. Not on the ground, not in the air, but inside code. The operation became known as Stuxnet. A cyber weapon developed through cooperation between the United States and Israel. Its target was Iran's nuclear facility at Natanz. But the attack was not visible. There were no explosions, no immediate alarms, only machines behaving slightly differently. Stuxnet infiltrated control systems that operated uranium enrichment centrifuges. Instead of shutting them down, it manipulated them. Speeds increased beyond safe limits, then dropped back to normal, while systems reported everything as stable. This created physical damage hidden behind digital normality. The operators saw no problem, but inside the system, the machines were destroying themselves. The malware used zero-day vulnerabilities, unknown even to the software developers. It carried legitimate digital certificates, allowing it to appear trusted, and it spread quietly, moving through networks without detection. Even air-gapped systems, networks not connected to the internet, were reached through engineered pathways. This was not hacking, it was precision engineering. A weapon designed not just to break systems, but to deceive them. And it proved something critical. Even the most protected infrastructure can be reached, not by force, but by understanding how it works better than those who built it. By the time these operations became visible, one thing was already clear. The system had been penetrated. In 2018, Mossad carried out one of its most audacious missions in Tehran. A warehouse believed to be secure was holding Iran's nuclear archive. Inside, thousands of classified documents, plans, diagrams, internal reports, information never meant to leave the country. The operation was precise. Agents entered, located the material, and removed massive amounts of data in a single night. No immediate alarm, no instant response. By the time the breach was discovered, the archive was already gone. This was not just intelligence collection. It was a message. Access was possible. Then came another operation. In 2020, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was killed, a central figure in Iran's nuclear program, long considered untouchable. The method was unlike traditional assassinations. Reports indicated a remote-controlled weapon system, possibly enhanced by artificial intelligence, for targeting and timing. no visible attack team, no direct confrontation, precision without presence. This changed the perception of what was possible. If such a protected figure could be reached, then the system was not impenetrable, only complex. And complexity, over time, can be understood. And once understood, it can be exploited. Which raises a dangerous possibility. If they were already inside the system, how far could they go? Chapter 9. The Day Without Confirmation. Now return to February 28, 2026. The claim is everywhere, faster than any verified information, stronger than any official silence. Ali Khamenei is dead. Search engines begin to react. Automated systems update in real time. Fragments of data start forming structure. Unverified inputs become visible outputs. Outputs become accepted reality. For millions of people, the repetition is enough. Because when something appears everywhere, it stops feeling like a rumor. It starts feeling like confirmation. But there is still no official response. No broadcast from Tehran. No coordinated statement. No clear transfer of power. And that absence grows heavier with time. Because systems built on control do not stay silent without reason. Silence can mean delay. It can mean uncertainty. Or it can mean control over information flow. But it can also mean something else, that nothing has happened at all. This is where the situation becomes unstable. Because now, two realities exist at once. One driven by information, the other by its absence. And the gap between them begins to expand. Inside that gap, interpretation takes over. Analysts speculate, media amplifies, audiences decide what to believe. And once belief takes hold, it begins to shape reactions. Markets shift, political calculations change, narratives begin to harden, all without a single confirmed fact. Which leads to the most important question. Not whether the event occurred, but whether it needs to have occurred to produce consequences. Because in modern information systems, impact does not always require reality. It only requires belief. Chapter 10. The Most Dangerous Weapon. At some point, the question stops being simple. Not what happened, but what is happening right now? Because by now, the effect already exists. Millions of people have seen the claim. Millions have reacted to it. And that reaction has already entered the system. This is where modern conflict changes. It is no longer only about physical operations. It is about perception. If enough people believe an event occurred, the consequences begin immediately. Markets respond to risk. Governments assess instability. Media amplifies uncertainty. And all of this can happen before a single fact is confirmed. This is not accidental. Information can be used as an instrument, not just to report reality, but to shape it, to test reaction speed, to map influence networks, to observe who amplifies, who questions, and who stays silent. Because every reaction is data. Every share, every comment, every broadcast feeds into a larger analytical system. Patterns emerge. Who believed first? Who resisted? Who drove the narrative forward? This is intelligence at scale, not focused on one target, but on millions. So what happened on February 28, 2026? A real strike hidden in confusion? A false signal amplified by algorithms? Or something more precise, a controlled informazione operazia, designed to simulate reality itself? There is no clear answer, only overlapping layers of probability. moving faster than verification. And one uncomfortable truth. In the modern world, the most powerful weapon is not always visible. It does not explode. It does not leave a crater. It moves through networks, through code, through human perception. And by the time truth finally arrives, the outcome has already been decided.